It's John Siskovich. I have my pig water, which I've done previous videos on. I've taken it out of the pasture for this morning to do some repairs, clean it out. I want to talk about what happened with this thing that, I just didn't prepare for, which then took a lot of time, and it's other things, incidentals, that you think you've got it all wrapped up, and then chaos strikes because you have pigs. So when they're piglets, you think, oh, I'm gonna over-engineer this thing, and I made it really rugged, and you hope for the best. Now the pigs are approaching the 150 to 200 pound range, and they're huge, and they're beating the snot out of this thing. Now I'm gonna jump behind the camera and show you some of the updates I made as this thing fills. Always creating video while you're working. So you can see I'm just filling it from a garden hose. There's 250 gallon reservoir. That's the hookup, and we'll start at the bottom here. So at the bottom, I have these nipple drinkers that I got off of Amazon. Those are actually holding up really great. The problem is the connection to the hose. Had to make it a little janky, put in 2 metal straps here to hold the holes on, and because the pigs beat the snot out of this so much, we've developed leaks, even with the tape on it. And that's just taking it apart, putting it all back together, retaping it, and seeing if it doesn't leak. With a little bit of leak, I've actually found it acceptable because they're big and they like to create a wallow. The weather's been really hot. So I've been leaving that slow drip, 1, because I can't take the time to fix it, and 2, because it helps them, get a little extra moisture on the ground. So I've just accepted that level of chaos for now. So the hoses have held up. They haven't really chewed through those, but if the water gets low or they get bored, they have been yanking on the hoses. And because this is a 2-inch out into, a hose, whatever that is, 3/4, 5/8, this thing is plastic, this adapter, and if they pull too hard on the hoses, they'll rip this brass fitting off of the plastic. And I've actually trimmed back that plastic to get myself clean threads, and even cut out the threads a little bit with my razor blade just to rethread it and get it on. But you can see I'm running out of room here, and I'm gonna have to replace that eventually. This brass fitting has worked out really well. That's holding up, hasn't cracked or broken yet. And then going up to the tank, you can see it's translucent and sunlight can penetrate. And I'll throw in some clips in a picture here. It got full of algae. So what I did was I have really good pressure on my hose, put a spray nozzle on and clean that water out because it was filthy inside of there. And that filthy water, what it did is the algae would build up and then it would go down into the hoses and clog up the drinkers, which means the pigs weren't getting enough water. And when the pigs aren't getting enough water, they become more aggressive, they chew on the hoses, and then that breaks this system. So really trying to stay on top of making sure this stays clean. I've been doing some, adding some organic apple cider vinegar to help keep down the algae, and just really ensuring that they have fresh water at all times and plenty of it. When they run out of feed, they run out of water, that's when you start to have the issues, I'm finding. The other thing I did today, and I have a little stop motion, me working on this, is that I added those shims to reinforce this brass fitting. So if they start to pull on it again, maybe I've got a little extra coverage, but you can see I'm already dripping from that plastic because there's not a good seal there. Again, I'm going to leave that, let chaos reign. I have some other things I got to do today, and I'll come back to it another day. So keeping it clean, adding some apple cider vinegar, it's good for the pigs. It's something that you can take anyways. So the pigs can have it. It'll help keep down the algae, keep the water fresh, and just reinforce the heck out of it. After the pigs are gone this year, I'm gonna take a look at this and maybe make a lot of these connections out of metal. But that's a project for another day. I think the moral of the story here is that there's things that you can't plan for that are gonna go wrong, that are gonna take extra time. And back in January when I'm doing my budgets, I didn't know that I would be standing here filling this thing and fixing these waters, but it happens. You learn, you move on, you reiterate. In the future, I might make this whole setup out of metal and make it tighter to the wagon now that I have a little more experience with raising pigs, but that's a project for another day. Thanks for stopping in, watching the videos. If you have any questions or if you have any tales of pigs getting into your stuff and ruining it and taking your entire day to fix something, leave it in the comment section below. And until next time, I will see you out in the field.